mean, obviously they are worried about me being in politics. I'm an outsider. I can't be controlled. I can't be bought and bribed. And they had to do away with me in the last election.
Kari Lake says this is lawfare. She says they're trying to just take her away from the campaign trail so that she'll lose the Senate seat. However, she has a strategy to avoid that. Kari Lake, as you probably know, ran for governor in 2022 and lost a fairly tight election. Now she's running for the U.S. Senate. However, meanwhile, she was sued for defamation. So why the heck was Kari Lake sued? Well, basically because she referred to the 2022 election as rigged, and she held one guy in particular as responsible, a man who held some responsibility for the Maricopa County election, a guy called Stephen Richer. So was it defamation? What happened is that Kari Lake conceded the lawsuit, which means that she's not contesting the charge of defamation. So does that mean that Kari Lake really defamed this guy? The media would have you think so. The media is spinning it as though Kari Lake is a big mouth and she made all these crazy allegations and now she can't back it up. I think the story is a little bit more complicated than that because there actually were some irregularities in Arizona in 2022 in Maricopa County, and this guy had some responsibility there. I don't know if he personally has any wrongdoing, or I don't know if he personally has direct responsibility, but he's someone in a position of responsibility. And basically his attitude was like, this is not my problem. In 2022, Kari Lake narrowly lost to Democrat Katie Hobbs for governor. And there were problems on Election Day. There were printer problems that turned out to be pretty convenient for Democrats. And I say that because the Republicans disproportionately vote on Election Day, which might be a problem moving forward, whereas Democrats are more likely to avail themselves of early voting and mail-in voting and all these other methods. So when there's a problem on Election Day, then guess who gets screwed? Republicans. According to Lead Stories, 70 of 223 voting centers in Maricopa County produced ballots that were too light to be read by the vote counting machine. That's a pretty big frickin' problem. Now let's take a look at an article from NBC News to get a flavor of the mainstream media coverage of the Kari Lake lawsuit for defamation. NBC News, Kari Lake declines to defend her statements in defamation suit filed by Arizona election official. The Senate candidate's legal team indicated she doesn't contest her culpability regarding the statements, though she is seeking to dispute the damages. So that is Kari Lake's legal strategy. She said, okay, whatever, I'm not going to be tied up in court talking about this lawsuit. The suggestion that this election official is psychologically upset by the words that Kari Lake said is how she's making fun of him. Stephen Richer, who presided over the county's 2022 election, filed a defamation claim against Lake in June, alleging that she, quote, repeatedly and falsely accused him of causing her electoral defeat in the race for governor won by Democrat Katie Hobbs. And again, Kari Lake is not disputing the charges, just not necessarily because she's admitting that she defamed him, but because it's going to be, prohibitive in terms of money and time to fight the charge in court. And the media is misrepresenting that as though Kari Lake is admitting that she defamed him. That's not the case. So this guy, Stephen Richer, is claiming that he's gotten lots of death threats, which is something we hear a lot. One of these guys who just doesn't seem to care about Election Day irregularities. Now, here's the crux of it, which NBC admits about 4 paragraphs down. So they're kind of burying the lead here. Dozens of vote tabulation machines malfunctioned during Arizona's 2022 election and would not accept ballots to read, which some conservatives falsely pointed to in espousing conspiracy theories. The root cause was ultimately traced to changes in ballot paper. Okay, so it was a freaking disaster. It's not a conspiracy theory. You just admitted that the tabulation machines malfunctioned. After all the controversy in 2020, you can't get it together and have the machines work to count the ballots on Election Day? And the problem is that redounds back to the voters because it creates long lines on Election Day, which negatively impacts Republicans. So when Kari Lake says that there were problems on Election Day, she's not making it up. NBC News just admitted it. They're just saying that, oh, it's whatever, it's because of this technical reason. Okay, is someone responsible? And I heard Kari Lake say this on the Bannon War Room about the guy who is suing her for defamation, Stephen Richer. Quote, "You said you had mental issues because of it. Show us what drugs you were on. We'll reimburse you for the drugs. What are your medical issues? We'll have a psychiatrist look at you and let us know what your issues are because of my words." So she's really kind of mocking him, like questioning his manhood to say that my words are making you suffer. Like, how do you translate that to a financial amount? And of course, the media is saying that he got death threats. And if he got death threats, then that's wrong, obviously. People shouldn't threaten you. But I mean, I don't know. What is the monetary damage for getting a death threat? Again, how do you add that up? It's one thing if you're like physically injured or your reputation is sullied and you can't get a job. You have to actually show damages. So I admire what Kari Lake is doing here. I certainly hope she does better in 2024. And I would encourage Republicans in Arizona to just vote early or do mail-in or do all the stuff Democrats do, because look at what happened to Kari Lake on Election Day in 2022. And look how the media just kind of glides over the fact, oh, conspiracy theories, Kari Lake making wild accusations. Look at this. Look at the evidence that we went over. We said that there were tabulation machines malfunctioned, that it would not accept ballots to be read. We said that 70 of 223 voting centers in Maricopa County produced ballots too light to read. So whoever's in charge of Maricopa County did a horrible job. And that's why we have to be a little skeptical of this defamation lawsuit. My name is Michael McCara. Thank you so much for listening. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my blog, michaelmccarablog.com. Like this video if you liked it. And most importantly, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. And now I'm getting love from you. Make your vow.